Well, they should make a deal, but they don't want to quite go far enough, and it's too bad. Look, we've been playing with them for 47 years, and that's a long time. They've been blowing the legs off our people, blowing the face off our people, the arms. They've been knocking out ships one by one. I mean, every month there's something else, so you can't put up with it too long. We're not happy with the negotiation. They just don't want to. They don't want to say the key words. We're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They have to say we're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they just can't quite get there. They want to enrich a little bit. You don't have to enrich when you have that much oil. So I'm not happy with the negotiation.
The Middle East is on edge tonight as the United States rapidly expands its military footprint near Israel amid rising tensions with Iran. In a move that signals escalating readiness, more than a dozen U.S. aerial refueling tankers have quietly arrived in Israel. Reports confirm at least 9 landed overnight at Ben Gurion Airport, bringing the total to 14 in just the past week. These aircraft are critical force multipliers, enabling fighter jets and bombers to travel farther, stay in the air longer, and strike with greater intensity. In military terms, this dramatically expands operational reach, turning regional deployments into long-range strike capabilities. At the same time, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the largest and most advanced aircraft carrier in the world, is now on the verge of arriving off Israel's coast. Carrying more than 90 aircraft, the carrier effectively serves as a floating air base, capable of sustained high-intensity combat operations. Together, these deployments point to one thing: preparation. Preparation not just for deterrence, but for the possibility of war. Yet, at the same time, Iran's supreme leader has issued stark rhetoric, openly warning American leadership of Donald Trump, while Iranian armed forces say they are closely monitoring every U.S. and Israeli movement in the region. The United Kingdom has withdrawn staff from its embassy in Tehran. The United States has authorized non-essential personnel to leave Israel. Countries including China, India, and Canada are urging their citizens to exit Iran immediately. For now, no shots have been fired. But with warships moving, aircraft deploying, embassies evacuating, and rhetoric hardening, the region is entering a phase where any misstep could trigger a much larger confrontation.
Do you have a message for Iran's supreme leader?
Well, they should make a deal, but they don't want to quite go far enough, and it's too bad. Look, we've been playing with them for 47 years, and that's a long time. They've been blowing the legs off our people, blowing the face off our people, the arms. They've been knocking out ships one by one. I mean, every month there's something else, so you can't put up with it too long. We're not happy with the negotiation. They just don't want to. They don't want to say the key words. We're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They have to say we're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they just can't quite get there. They want to enrich a little bit. You don't have to enrich when you have that much oil. So I'm not happy with the negotiation. I say no enrichment. Not 20%, 30%. They always want 20%, 30%. They want it for civilian, for civil. I think it's uncivil. So I'm not happy with it, no.
Sir, how close are you to making a decision on strikes? How close are you to making a decision on strikes?
I'd rather not tell you. You would have had the greatest scoop in history, right? Well, they're going. I mean, we're negotiating right now, but they're not getting to the right answer. And we're not going to see people. We're not going to see what's happened for 47 years keep going. 47 years we've been doing this with them. The Obama deal was the worst deal. Nobody ever saw a deal so stupid. Right now, if you did the Obama deal, if that held, if I didn't terminate it, Iran would have a nuclear weapon, and it would be a whole different ballgame.
Are you concerned that striking Iran?
That Obama deal was one of the worst, one of the dumbest deals I've ever seen. First of all, it's very short term. It would long be over. You know that. Would be not. I terminated it, but if I didn't, it would be over by now anyway. But the Obama deal, what he did was one of the dumber deals. I've seen a lot of dumb deals. That would be one of the dumber deals.
Are you concerned that striking Iran might raise oil prices, which could affect your economic agenda
I'm not concerned. No. I'm concerned about people's lives. I'm concerned about long-term health for this country. That's what I'm concerned about.
The vice president on this meeting, the Iranian foreign.
Yeah, he did.
What did he say?
I can't tell you that.
Is there any progress?
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you.
The Ayatollah has decided he wants a nuclear war yet. Why should we care? You know, I hear from some of my fellow Americans all the time, why do we need to be involved in Iran? Why should we care? Well, number one, we're not trying to start a war in Iran. The president is trying to end a war in Iran. If the Ayatollah gets a nuclear weapon, he will use it. He could use it against America. He could use it against Israel. I don't know who he'll use it against, and I hope I'm wrong, but he will use it. And you know what else will happen? As soon as he gets a nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia is going to get a nuclear weapon. And the UAE is going to get a nuclear weapon. And Japan's going to get a nuclear weapon. And South Korea, and I could go on and on and on. And the more nuclear weapons you have in the world, the more likely you are to have a nuclear war. But that's not the only thing the Ayatollah has done since he became the Ayatollah. He exports terrorism. He was the person behind Hamas and Hezbollah that have killed so many people throughout the world. Not just in the Middle East, but across the world, including, but not limited to, Americans. That's why we ought to care. The Ayatollah also has conventional ballistic missiles and is building more as we speak. Now, those missiles can't reach America yet, but they're working on one, and they can sure reach our military bases in the Middle East. And they can sure reach Israel. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's why we should care. And finally, the Ayatollah, if you disagree with him, and we've seen it happen on TV, we don't know how many people he's hung in the last 6 months. We don't know how many people he's tortured. I've seen estimates as high as 50,000. So that's what this business with Iran is all about. We're not trying to be the world's policeman. We're trying to stop the Ayatollah from being the world's policeman, who's getting a lot of support from President Xi Jinping in China and Vladimir Putin in Russia and Kim Jong-un in North Korea. So that's where we find ourselves, trying to stop this war. And to the Ayatollah, I would say, Ayatollah, you're entitled to believe what you want. You can hate me. You can believe that. I know you hate me and what I stand for. You know how I sleep at night knowing that you hate me? With the fan on. That's your right. But you can't act on that belief. Put down the nuclear weapons. Put down the nuclear enrichment. Stop exporting terrorism to Hamas and Hezbollah. End your missile program. Stop killing and torturing your people. That's all we want. And he's doing that as we speak. He's at war. We're trying to stop it. I'm not about to tell the president, give the president any advice. He has intelligence that I don't have. And I respect the fact that he's being very, very, very deliberate and careful in making a decision. If we make a deal with Iran, let's make sure we have a protocol to enforce it. Because my experience in watching the Ayatollah through the years, I wouldn't trust this man if he was 3 days dead. I wouldn't trust him if he was 3 days dead. Anybody whose religion tells them that in order to be saved, they've got to go kill hundreds of millions of people, you can believe it if you want. But as far as I'm concerned, it's time to get a new religion. And that's what we're doing in Iran. Let me say it again. We're not trying to start a war. This war began a long time ago. trying to end it. Our president presiding today knows exactly what I talked about. He served honorably, at great physical, mental, and emotional expense in the Middle East. That's what we're trying to stop.